Skyler Henry at the White House, where the president is teaming up with Western state governors to fight the blazes.
Also, the death toll is now 16 as crews continue the search for survivors of the Surfside, Florida condo collapse.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The president of the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce resigns. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Zach Dodge. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce announces that President and CEO Toby Teeter is stepping down effective July 30th. Teeter was hired in December 2018. He focused on furthering economic development, attracting and retaining talent for Joplin, building a strong regional entrepreneurial ecosystem, and expanding benefits for chamber members. The chamber says Teeter will continue to aid and advise staff through a brief transition period. The Barton County, Missouri jail will be temporarily closed for repairs. It will be closed starting July 2nd, so the department can make several needed repairs. The sheriff says they plan to address staffing issues at the same time. Inmates will be housed at the Cedar County Jail in Stockton. A crash on Highway 69 kills 2 people. It happened around 12 miles south of Fort Scott Tuesday. Police say a car crossed the center line and hit another car head-on. The drivers of both vehicles died. They were 50-year-old David Ross from Fort Scott and 63-year-old George Danley from Mapleton. Authorities are investigating the cause of a mattress factory fire in Edna, Kansas. It happened around 9:30 Tuesday morning. Authorities say the factory is a complete loss, but its nearby retail facility did not appear to be damaged. No one was hurt in the fire. Oklahoma is taking action aimed at getting people back to work. Starting this week, the Sooner State is offering a one-time incentive for Oklahomans returning to work following the end of enhanced state unemployment benefits. Anyone returning to work at least 32 hours a week is eligible to receive a $1,200 one-time payment. For an area that relies heavily on tourism like Grove, Oklahoma, getting more people to work is crucial.
We want to incentivize people to work as opposed to incentivize people to not work. And I think what the governor is doing and what this stipend does is really do that, incentivize people to work. And that's what we need. We need workers.
The area chamber says some Grove businesses have only a fraction of the employees they need and hope this incentive will help fix that. We're joined now by Michael Hayslip in the studio with our look at the weather.
You want to take a guess at what we're going to anticipate the rest of the afternoon and evening? Just a wild guess.
Just a wild guess.
Just go out on a limb for me.
How about rain?
All right, it's been spotty at best. We've been lucky here at Television City, and I apologize for everybody that has had a morning where you can't get out of the precipitation. That's a live look outside of our studios as we transition to the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We have gone from it dominating the western edge of southeast Kansas to now being much more widespread. I'm going to focus in on southwest Missouri here, where we've got lightning coming down along and just to the north of I-44 on that line on the east side of Carthage headed toward Mount Vernon. Very, very heavy rain with that just in Jasper County alone. Then as we transition into southeast Kansas, not only a line that's just about to make its way from Labette County into Cherokee County, but also to jaunt up to the northwest where it's on its way to Chanute. Now the indicator that we've got a lot more to come, it doesn't matter. Do you want to venture down to the south, or if you'd like to venture out to the west? That gives you an idea of what we've got for the rest of the day with additional lightning strikes happening right now on the western edge of southeast Kansas. Temperatures not too bad. Thank goodness these aren't a whole lot of high 80s or low 90s, or else you factor in the humidity, it'd feel about like triple digits. Right now, Joplin's feeling about like 86, so that's pretty tolerable for the end of June and beginning of July. And there is a live look over 7th and Range Line as we transition into future track. You'll notice, as spotty as it may look, it just keeps sticking around. A whole lot of Gulf moisture, a little early Thursday morning break, but then guess what happens Thursday morning? We are right back at it. Additional rainfall. So we've got 2 more days. Zach, Coming up here in just a little bit, let's dive into our flood watches and warnings. We know that they've got that expiration time, but we know they're going to be extended as we press toward the 4th of July weekend.
All right, we'll check back in with you here in just a little bit. Topping Nation Watch today, President Biden is hosting the governors of Western states to discuss the dangers of wildfires and what his administration plans to do to combat the blazes. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Firefighters worked through the night, struggling to contain the lava fire on Mount Shasta in California. It exploded to more than 13,000 acres Tuesday, forcing evacuations. So far, wildfires have already burned more than 1.4 million acres this year, and the season is just getting started.
The threat of western wildfires this year is as severe as it's ever been.
President Biden was joined virtually by governors of western states during a cabinet meeting Wednesday to discuss the dangers wildfires pose this year. The president wants to be able to surge firefighting capacity, starting with a $2 raise for federal firefighters so they can earn $15 an hour. He's also extending the seasonal hiring of firefighters and training for federal employees and military personnel to help fight fires.
Investing in prevention and preparation today is going to deliver invaluable returns tomorrow. And the federal government is going to have to have your backs, and that's my intention.
The Biden administration says climate change is what's driving up record hot temperatures and creating drought conditions, which lead to those wildfires.
We're seeing wildfires of greater intensity that move with more speed, and last well beyond traditional months.
President Biden is calling on Congress to include money to combat climate change in the upcoming budget bill. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Democrats are trying to use the reconciliation process to pass the budget bill, which would allow them to pass it with a simple majority. No Republican lawmaker supports the bill. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, after days of searching for survivors, Florida officials pledged to convene a grand jury to investigate the Surfside building collapse that's now claimed 16 lives. And later, a new law in Missouri aims to protect the identity of lottery winners. Florida officials have now promised to convene a grand jury to investigate the Surfside building collapse. The death toll is at 16, with more than 100 still missing. Manuel Bojorquez reports from Surfside.
The search and rescue continues amid the shattered remains of the Champlain South Tower, with leaders insisting this is not yet a recovery operation.
Nobody's giving up hope here. Nobody's stopping. The work goes on, full force.
Rescue crews have moved around 3 million pounds of concrete. While they clear debris, the investigation into the collapse is still in its early stages.
I know what the video showed, but it's what was going on in the structure before it fell down that you don't see in that video.
Alan Kilzheimer is a structural engineer hired by the town of Surfside to find out what went wrong. He has decades of experience investigating disasters like the 9/11 terrorist attack on the Pentagon, and he's looking at everything, from witness interviews to reports of cracked concrete under the building.
How much weight should be put on those findings?
I wouldn't put any weight on them at this point in time. It could have been a number of things that alone wouldn't have caused the problem, but together with a trigger caused the problem.
One witness account in particular caught his attention, the testimony of a lobby attendant who heard something the night of the collapse.
He heard a muffled boom, and then X number of seconds later, a much bigger boom, and then Y seconds after that, a much bigger boom. So there were 3 booms. I think I understand the second one. I think I understand the third one. I don't understand the first one. This is a puzzle, and we have to figure out how to put all the pieces together.
In the meantime, Miami-Dade County has conducted an audit of similar buildings. It found 41 buildings are past due on the required 40-year inspections. 24 of those buildings were technically labeled unsafe structures because they were past due, but officials say they found no major structural issues. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Surfside, Florida.
One thing that has slowed the search concerns that one part of the pile may be holding up what remains of the building. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed legislation that could keep the identity of lottery winners secret. The new law will make it a misdemeanor for Missouri lottery officials or contractors to release a name, address, or any identifying information about anyone who wins the lottery, unless of course the winner asks to be publicized. The new law will take effect August 28th. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
We've got a dish that'll make your 4th of July bash the talk of the town, so don't you go anywhere.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Turn on your national nightly news and I know what everybody's talking about. They're talking about heat waves in the Pacific Northwest. They're talking about thunderstorms in the Northeast. All things considered, it is right here in the 4 states where the massive flooding concerns are going to prevail into the 4th of July weekend, and we cannot get out of the fray on this Wednesday. Extremely hard rain. We'll break it down, and let's move from east to west. We're going to start in southwest Missouri. We're right now just along I-44 and then moving up to the north toward Greenfield. We've got extreme heavy rain that just has moved out of Carthage, transitioned across the state line into southeast Kansas. There we are crossing the Labette County line out of Oswego into Cherokee County toward Columbus. And then as we move up to Neosho County and Wilson County, we've got good rain coming down in between Chanute, Neodesha, and Fredonia. Now, as we reset this, let's talk a little bit about lightning, because earlier this morning that was not a problem. Well, it's becoming more of one now. We're seeing it as far south as Grove. We're seeing extended lightning strikes along that path from Mount Vernon up to Greenfield, and now developing, not a whole lot, but developing because of that afternoon instability in between Chanute and Fredonia. As far as what we're looking at for our precipitation totals, now remember, this amount that you're looking at right now, this is the last 24 hours alone, where really the western portion of the 4 states was our dominant area, as well as to the north, but we all know what this is going to look like when we revert back to, Friday has been the one that we're using. A ridiculous amount of rain that we've picked up here in the last 5 days of June alone. Enough actually to almost make us look at our historical models from June 1 up to June 25th and say this was going to be one of our driest Junes on record. And in the span of 4 to 5 days, completely flipped the script. Earlier, Zach and I were talking about Chanute in particular. Now at 10 inches of rain, 9 of those inches have come in the last 4 days alone. When we talk about our flood warnings and watches, we've still got those that are going to persist into the weekend, mostly flash flood watches. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But, one thing that we need to keep our eyes on is also, too, the flood warnings, because that's going to be the particularly dangerous thing. Remember, the watch means got a chance. The warning means it's imminent and it's happening. Especially when we talk about the rivers. We go up into Vernon County, you got the Osage, the Little Osage and the Marmonton, and then that line of lime green that you see that extends from Erie all the way down to the Miami Commerce area. That is, of course, the Neosho River. Go back, 2005. It was 16 years ago. I know that's hard to believe, but we would have been talking about those same areas being threatened by the massive, what we call the 50-year flood, some 16 years ago at this exact same calendar time. When we talk about it, no, don't want anybody to think we're going to get there. Trust me, we ain't going to get there. Thank goodness. I was hearkening back looking at pictures of that yesterday. When we talk about our watches and warnings, yeah, we know we got the heat out on the west coast. We know we've got the thunderstorms on the east coast. But look, right there along us, that's where we're dominated with all the flooding. Live look from 7th and Rangeline, where the cloud cover has moved in and our current conditions put us at 84 degrees. Feeling about like 87, 88, so not too bad, even with that humidity hanging around 69%. As we move into the afternoon hours, I would love to tell you that we're going to dry off. Trust me, that would be my #1 goal. Rain's going to stick around. Early Thursday morning break, and then Thursday afternoon as we warm up, the instability grows right with it. But Zach, here's the light at the end of the tunnel. We got about 36 hours of this left. We get to Friday, we begin to see sunshine, we're dry, and we're talking about a turn of the calendar into July with temperatures in the low 80s. Compare that to the mid-90s we started June out with.
Right. It's just been crazy. The weather lately has been all over the place.
I think Mother Nature's going to take holiday weekend off. I think she's done for a little bit after that.
Right. But thank you very much, Michael. We take this time now to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Nicholas Renfro. The Pittsburgh native served in the U.S. Army. We are proud to salute Sergeant Nicholas Renfro, our four-state hero. A zesty twist on a backyard barbecue favorite that's sure to please. That's what Howard has today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Can you believe that the 4th of July is right around the corner? For many of us, that means getting together with family and friends for a cookout. My guess is that you'll be grilling the all-American combo of hot dogs and hamburgers. But if you want to kick things up a bit, how about adding a new potato salad to your spread? It's got a Tex-Mex twist, and it's so easy. We start by boiling about 3 pounds of white potatoes until they're fork tender. Once they are, we drain them really well before cutting them into chunks. At this point, we combine some mayo with an envelope of taco seasoning and stir it until it's well mixed. This gets added to our chunked up potatoes, along with some shredded cheddar cheese, sliced scallions, a can of black sliced olives that we've drained really well. And are you ready for this? Lots of coarsely crushed ranch flavored tortilla chips. Once everything is mixed and the potato salad is chilled, it's ready to serve. It's one of those dishes that makes everyone want to go back for seconds. We're not sure if it's the zesty Tex-Mex dressing, the rich tasting cheddar, or the surprising crunch of the tortilla chips that keeps everyone coming back. But we're not complaining. To get the recipe for our taco potato salad, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a taco twisted way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at 4 state market prices. Former Crowder College standout Aaron Ashby is getting his shot in the major leagues. Ashby is set to be called up by the Brewers and make his major league debut today against the Cubs. The Brewers took Ashby in the 4th round of the draft in 2018 after being a first-team All-American his sophomore season at Crowder College.
And what a family legacy that the Ashbys have there at Crowder College. Aaron's set to take the mound in 40 minutes at Wrigley Field, where he will make that major league debut. You may remember his nephew, that would be one Andy Ashby, who also played at Crowder. So for any of you out in the Chanute area, if you run into Coach Steve Murray, please tell from everybody here at KOAM. I know, Coach, you're going to be watching the game, probably not watching the news. Tell us we've got our eyes on Aaron this afternoon. All right, everybody be safe out there. Remember, roads are going to continue to be flooded until we get to Friday.
And now Zach Quick joins us with our look at what's coming up tonight at 5.
Yeah, we're going to hear from the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce President Toby Teeter on why he's stepping down from the position. Plus, college students get a chance for more on-the-job training. Freeman Hospital is teaming up with Crowder to offer a certified medical assistance apprentice program. And the House is set to vote today on a new committee to investigate the January 6th attack on our Capitol. Hope you'll join us at 5.
Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.